Before we get into this episode, I just want to let you know that 101 Part-Time Jobs is all about supporting and contributing to this culture we love. We want to support alternative and independent artists. We ourselves are an independent podcast, brand, production company. If you wanted to support us, the best way you can do that is to leave a 5-star review on this episode and subscribe to the show. If you're able to do that, that would be amazing. Thank you. 101. There's 101 jobs in being an artist. So that's the kind of foundation of it. I wonder if a good place to start with you before you release this new record is it's like, you know, over the course of the last 10 years, because it's 10 years when the first like official album came out.
Yep.
You must have learned a fuck ton framing what you do.
Yeah.
And like the goalpost is always moving, I imagine.
Yeah.
So, and this is a big question, but how do you kind of sum up that your kind of like journey, I suppose, of like working out what you're trying to do and who you are and the art that you're putting out there?
Yeah, it's definitely a journey. Like it's something, yeah, it's a big question. I like it. The big opener. Yeah, I think a lot of it for me has been like, learning how to do things like this. I think that's that doesn't come naturally. It still doesn't really come naturally to me. I think I found a lot of that hard early on, like doing interviews, talking about myself and my thoughts and ideas, and I found it hard to put those things into words. I think I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I think my skill or where I feel good is making things and taking my time writing songs and getting my ideas across that way. And so something as simple as conversations and whatever it is would make me kind of second guess myself, and all this doubt kind of would creep in. And
so that must be kind of funny. It's like, okay, this thing's expected of me. I didn't really ask to do this part.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because it's like at the same, obviously I'm very grateful at the same time for that opportunity, but I think sometimes in those moments I'm like, oh, I've got nothing to say, or I don't know what I'm thinking, or for some reason all my thoughts disappear from my head. And
everyone learns to play a song because it's fun. And then when you start playing in front of a crowd and like you're selling records, then it's a job. Yeah. Right. So how do you keep that fun for yourself whilst also giving it like the attention and, you know, caring, right? Caring is cool.
Yeah. It's funny because it becomes a job. It becomes a career. It suddenly becomes serious. And there's people who rely on you for income or whatever it is. It's like, it definitely becomes a whole different thing, which is pretty intimidating in some ways, but I think it's that's been a strange process. If I think back, like I feel like I've been touring for 15 or so years, I guess, like 10, 15 years. Certainly changes, but I think I'm always constantly checking in with myself of like, what am I doing and why am I doing it, and trying to like remind myself of those steps so I don't get too lost in it or too serious or too whatever it is, like carried away into a place where I don't want to be. But I think that's good that it's a constant check-in. That can be really hard as well, because it's like we grieve things as things change, but then we also look ahead to whatever it is, like the next journey or the different path that you're on. At the end of it, it's like, is it still fun? Am I still learning something? Is it still enjoyable? Like, I don't know, there's so many goalposts of like the things you want to try to to check off.
5 years before the first album came out, that's like a fair amount of time to be playing music and like touring, probably for not loads of money, breaking even if you're lucky. How do you look back on that time, and like how were you doing it?
The last job that I had was I was a bartender for the last couple of years before I that was the last job, which was maybe, I feel like I quit that around the time I released my first album. But before that, I'd done the double EP, and I'd toured over here for the first times, and so there was a period where I was balancing. Touring was starting to pick up, and I was just messaging my boss more and more, being like, I can't do this one day next week, and then it became like, I can't do the next 3 months. Is that okay? And eventually she was like, do you want to just quit? Maybe
a helpful push, a helpful nudge.
Yeah, but it was kind of a slow build up to that. But yeah, I was my main job for a while was being a bartender, and then I would kind of make music in all of my spare time, write music, or I was kind of doing my solo thing forever, but then I would kind of play in a few other bands as well, so it was just balancing those things.
When you go from that, like that structure of like, you're going to be working in the evening so you can write songs in the morning, or vice, whatever it is, when that changed, when that shifted, all right, this is something new here.
Yeah,
having
definitely
more time.
Yeah, which is like, sometimes more time is too much time.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, a lot of it went into touring, but then it was strange when I was home. But then also around that time I had a record label in Melbourne that I was kind of helping to run.
Yeah, Milk Records.
Yeah.
Put out some great stuff.
Yeah.
And like the feeling of it was great. And that's so important in a label.
All of my spare time went into that. And it was so fun.
Learning to be a businessman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I ever figured it out, really? But I pretended.
No one teaches you taxes.
No, I mean, I never knew what I was doing. But it started off as such a small thing, and then it got a bit bigger, and then I think I was like, oh, I really don't know what I'm doing.
I wonder if like not knowing what you're doing is like part of the fun of it. I run this show, and like, this is my project in my life, and it's like, I like that 10% that I don't quite know exactly what it is. I like that. There's a bit of there's like experimentation with it. Yeah,
there's something magical in that, because you'll do things that someone else might not do.
Yeah.
Or they'd be like, that's too risky, or
it's like there's a trusting your instinct, like trusting your gut.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's something in that in songwriting as well. When you're writing tunes or writing a line, you're like, it's not what I was going for, but I like it for some reason.
Yeah, well, the good thing about songwriting, I think, is that, well, for me, is that I don't know what I'm doing a lot of the time. Like, it's still a mystery to me. Like, every song I write is a mystery, and I know the basics, but I don't know that I'm going to write a song that works, or a good song, or like it's such an unknown, and there's just no knowing that it's going to be what you want it to be. Yeah. So it does feel feels out of my control, which is terrifying but also exciting at the same time, and it's rewarding when I hopefully figure it out each time. Yeah.
There's that great line on Mantis where you're like, I'm looking for the perfect hook.
Yeah.
And I imagine that must be like an everyday, like every second kind of thought in the back of your mind, because that's your business, your business is hooks.
Yeah.
Melody.
Yeah, looking for the perfect melody. I mean, I was really happy with that line. I really like that line, because I think it also means to me that there is no, like, you're looking for something, but maybe it doesn't exist, or it's this idea of perfection, like the perfect melody. And what is that? There's
a great Alex G quote where he was like, are you a fan of Alex G?
Yeah.
He was like, when I write a song and I finish it, I'm like, well, another one on the scrap heap. Another one on the scrap heap, just good. Gonna
finishing something, like, which I find really hard. Finishing a song is the idea of perfectionism. I was doing I did like a few pottery classes last year and this year, and there was a really nice moment where one of the other students was kind of saying they were. I think she was worried because she was taking a bit long on something, and she was saying I'm a bit of a perfectionist to the teacher, and kind of said it a few times, and the teacher said it was so important to me, but I can't quite remember how to. Like I'm paraphrasing, but very badly. But
those are the best stories, you know. The best stories are just like that.
That's all my stories, sadly. What she said, something along the lines of being a perfectionist doesn't mean that what you make is perfect. It just means that you are forever trying to get there, and I guess my takeaway from it was like just get on with it and finish whatever you're working on. And if it doesn't work, then that's fine. You've done that, and you can move on. And it was a good lesson for me, even though I don't know the exact lesson.
Totally. I mean, I think that's one of those things you don't really. Maybe you'll never know.
Yeah.
That's sort of not the point.
Yeah.
You know, the point is like never really knowing.
Yeah.
In that kind of way. Creature of Habit is the name of the record. What's one of your things that you do that is like it's just like a habitual thing you do? Maybe it doesn't make sense that you do it. One of the things I'll do is if there's something at home, and I've only noticed it because my partner is like, why are you doing that? Is I'll pick something up and I don't exactly know what it is. It's like a bit of fluff, or like maybe it could be anything, and I'll smell it, which is so wrong because we've got a cat and it might be a piece of cat poop or something.
Right.
It's like, what's something that you do that you're like, oh, I'm in the habit of doing that?
There's definitely little things I do. Actually, yeah, my girlfriend recently said that we were sitting on the couch watching TV, and she's like, "Do you know that you're doing that?" And I was like, "What?" And she, like, I always I don't even know what it is. I kind of always straighten my back or something, like this weird. I've never noticed that I do it, but then she said it, and now I always catch myself doing it. But I think I have lots of strange little tics like that. I know when I'm on stage, I wear in-ears monitors for the sound, and my ears always block up, so I'm constantly like clearing my, like
on an airplane.
Yeah, like you do on an airplane, and I always like see myself doing it, and I'm like, and then I get really self-conscious, but otherwise I can't hear properly. So yeah.
Do you have that with songwriting as well? Like, will you notice you'll go to kind of certain phrases, or like do certain like hammer-ons or something when you're noodling around?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely notice little it is like a comfort thing. I come back to the same little chords, or I find myself doing the same even if it's like a guitar solo, like I'll do a similar. So then I have to shake myself out of it and try to do whatever it is to change that, or change tuning, or just try to. Because I think there's obviously something really nice about that as well. It's like it's what makes us all individual, and
it's like your signature or something.
Yeah, but sometimes it's like, okay,
you want to break out of it.
Yeah, and then you can't help. It's probably still gonna still have a similar essence.
Because you.
Yeah,
I think if there's like 1,000 people playing the same song, it's going to come out 1,000 different ways.
Yeah.
A bit of a cheesy analogy, but I think there's some truth to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and sometimes I think it's hard to see, what a certain individual will bring. But yeah.
What's your favorite song on the new record? Mine's Wonder.
Oh, cool.
I think it's just such like nice vibe.
Nice.
It's like, that's a good. I can see myself setting my alarm to that.
Nice. My favorite is maybe Sugar Plum. Yeah, Sugar Plum or Mantis. Mantis is the song I wrote that it felt like the whole album made sense once I wrote it. Mm-hmm. And then Sugar Plum's just one of the last songs that I wrote for the album.
Okay.
That was kind of an accident. And it just makes me really happy when I hear it.
I feel like there's a something about like the last rushed song.
Yeah,
there's always going to be a bit of magic in that.
Yeah, I mean, Stay in Your Lane as well, which was the first single, was one of the last songs. Stay in Your Lane and Sugar Plum were both kind of written at the very end, when I was just kind of having trouble finishing some things, and started them almost as a just a exercise of trying to finish something, of just like I was kind of setting myself a little task, and so it's cool that they turned into real songs that made it on the album.
Big time. Just to end with, then, I'm a big fan of like hearing the kind of it's the schadenfreude, I suppose, of people's part-time jobs. And I think playing music, in the earlier days for you, playing music and then getting back to work, the shift on the Saturday night or the Monday morning, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Do you have particular like memories where you're like, fuck, that was a shite time, or like a funny shite time?
Yeah.
You know, I constantly think, like, I'm in my like mid 30s, and I constantly think about like that period of like 18 to 25 when I was doing a lot of like unpaid internships and just getting on the bus in like the pissing rain.
Yeah.
There's a specific feeling in there. You know, you feel pretty helpless, but I think that's quite like that. That's kind of maybe fertile ground for like some funny memories.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had so many kind of random jobs over the years, so many bartending jobs. I delivered pizzas for a while.
Yeah. Were you good at it?
I think so. I remember my first shift, it was before like smartphones. So my first shift, I went off to deliver this pizza, and then I realized I didn't know where I was going, and I didn't have a map. What are they called?
Yeah. Just like you didn't have like a map in your thing. Yeah, map book. Yeah.
Like a street directory, whatever they were called.
Yeah.
So I had to stop and buy one. But
that's good. It's on your spot thinking. On the spot thinking.
Yeah. I mean, I probably should have had one if I was going to be delivering pizzas. But
I got a job doing Chinese takeaway delivery, and I just learned to drive, and my head was all over the place. I was like 22 and parked somewhere to go to a friend's house, came out and I'd been blocked in. Oh. And I was about to start my first shift, and I was too embarrassed to be like, I don't have a car. And so I borrowed a bicycle, like a kid's bicycle, to deliver this kind of soupy food around a very hilly town. And honestly, every single one of those deliveries like had the soup like in the bottom of the bag outside of the. But I didn't get fired, which is pretty impressive.
I worked at McDonald's when I was like 16 or 17, and I remember I was just telling my girlfriend this story recently, but there's like, you know, the thick shake machine. Mm-hmm.
The McFlurry?
Yeah.
Or is it like a milkshake?
The milkshakey one.
Yeah.
This is a very old memory, so it's a bit hazy, but you had to fill it up with this kind of syrupy liquid stuff. Yeah. And it was, I got shown how to do it when I started, and I always avoided it because it was quite a hard job. You had to like get up on a step ladder and then reach over the top of the machine and pour this thing out of, you know, like a wine bag, like a plastic. Yeah, it was one of them. So it had the little, and it would it was quite heavy, and you're up high. Yeah, it's dangerous. And it's near the counter where everyone's watching you. And there was a real danger in the bag of it, you kind of losing balance of the weight when the liquid would move. Yeah, you know, it turns the bag to the other side, and so I would always try to avoid it. But one day I had to do it. My manager told me to do it, and you're putting it in this hole at the top of the machine that's very small. And I did it. It slipped. The bag went off the side, and the liquid like splashed, like, you know, it's this big heavy bag. It slopped down onto the floor, slopped all over everything. The whole counter saw. I went red with embarrassment. It was horrible. It was like, just remembering, I was so mortified. It probably was all over me as well. It's funny how that embarrassment can be so physical. Yeah. You know, when you walk, it's like the first day of school all over again. Yeah. You see everyone's looking at you. They probably are looking at you because you feel, you know, there's an energy there. When was the last time you had that feeling of like embarrassment? I feel like sometimes socially, like I can get kind of really overwhelmed socially quite easily.
Yeah.
So it's not so much of an embarrassment, but yeah, maybe in a social setting, yeah, sometimes I can get really I'm not totally an introvert, but I'm definitely not an extrovert. Yeah. But it's, sometimes I just get overwhelmed and I feel like I've said the wrong thing, or I get really embarrassed in those moments, and I like retreat into myself and get quiet and weird.
I mean, that's the killer, isn't it? I mean, I'm pretty outgoing, but I'm like, if I say something that's like, just like you start thinking about it, and it potentially night ruining.
yeah.
I was at a party last night. I was telling producer Olivia, I was at a party and I was like, spoke to two people at two different points of the night, and then just like halfway through my sentence, they're like, I gotta go. And I'm like, was that me? And I don't think it was me, but I just kind of got to get over it. I'm not holding on to it that much, despite talking about it now. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of social stuff in your life in doing what you do.
I just remembered I went to this thing recently through like with a friend of a friend, and it was at these people's house, and they were so nice that they introduced, and the guy said, "Hi, I'm Nick," and I shook his hand and I said, "Hi, I'm Nick," and I was like, "Oh my God, you idiot!"
Great.
And I felt so embarrassed because I didn't know them, and it was such a weird thing to do. I think they were like, "Who is?" She doesn't know her own name.
Best advice is like, no one. I mean, momentarily they might think, okay, but no one remembers. I don't like to think no one remembers that.
Yeah, totally.
That's the like the beer fear. The next day, it's like you're 99%. You're the only person thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, and I've stopped kind of. I find myself not drinking as much anymore, and it was just such I would drink all the time socially and all that stuff, and I don't anymore, and I feel like it's good, because in those moments, if I've like had a few drinks, then I'll be like, oh my God, you're so, like, I'll be so hard on myself. And so it's like, oh, well, now I'm kind of not drinking, so I can't blame it. Yeah. Like, I don't know, it's not such a big deal or something. And then,
But booze does that, doesn't it? Like, alcohol makes you feel bad. And that's one of them.
Well, I used to think, and maybe we all think, that like it's the opposite. It makes you more fun and outgoing, but I think it just makes me not enjoy myself.
Listen to yourself, right? Listen to what you react to.
Yeah, it's not,
Last question. I think I actually haven't seen you play in years, so I can't remember how much you talk between songs. But I know from just from like a general live environment songwriter point of view, what's your story being like of like working out what to say between songs? I mean, I know this is a really, really funny question, but it's real, right? I mean, you've got to work out what you're going to say, but you also don't want to be scripted. So how do you work that out?
Yeah, I think that I just don't talk that much on stage.
You're rock.
Yeah, I think I've probably gone through different moments over the years, and I did a solo tour. I think when I play solo, I end up talking more because it's more intimate, and
it's like a conversation, right?
Yeah, like it makes more sense to talk more. But I think when it's a band show and a bigger kind of energy, I just don't end up talking that much. And it's weird. I get overwhelmed, and I don't know what to say, and then I get like all those things we were talking about before. I get kind of embarrassed and feel weird. So I've just learnt that I've put a lot of energy into the songs, and I love performing live, and more and more, I think, as the years go on, just feel really grateful being on stage. So I always just end up like thanking people over and over, because it's honestly how I feel. It's fun to play the songs, and I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about on stage.
Yeah. People know the songs. They want to dance. They want to sing. They want to hug each other.
Yeah.
Nice one, Courtney. I appreciate the time.
Oh, thank you. I really love your podcast. So Thank you for having me.
Hell yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate the stories. Cheers for watching. This is 101 Part-Time Jobs. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast apps. We've done interviews with Aurora, Kneecap, Idols, Lauren Maybury of Churches, and loads more. So tap into 101 Part-Time Jobs on Spotify, Apple, and all podcast apps.